What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Post Credits Podcast. This is episode number 58, recorded on Sunday, November 30th, 2025, to get posted to podcast services on Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025. The usual spots: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and YouTube. If you're listening to us on an audio-only version, feel free to check us out on YouTube as well. You can watch full episodes or just segments. Everything is time coded out. It's all very simple. We try to snip out some interesting stuff and post it also for shorts. Like and subscribe if you like what you're watching. However you choose to enjoy us, thank you very much. I am one of your hosts, Grayson Maxwell. Joining me, as you do every week, are my co-hosts Roger Stillion and Chris Bond. Hello, gentlemen. How are we this week?
Hola.
Yo.
We're all remoting in from different places. Roger's the only one actually in studio.
Yeah.
I mean, this is sort of my home base, so
It's fair.
True.
This is really, yeah. I mean, I could be
I-
somewhere else, but it's
I
fine.
couldn't make the journey. I couldn't make the journey today for health concerns. So
The fierce
it's fine.
trek, and I appreciate that. I do.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
I mean, look,
I don't need to
tis,
return from work after 5 or 6 days in a row off just to be sick as hell.
tis
Yeah.
the season, man. It is the.
Mhm.
How cold is it back in the Ohio Valley?
It was a brisk Thanksgiving.
Super windy right now here, so
True.
Mm.
True.
a legitimate chance for some snowfall this week. Accumulating
yeah.
snow.
I was in Portland for Thanksgiving. First of all, I hope everyone had a
Poland?
good. I hope everyone had a very delicious and safe Thanksgiving. In the U.S., we celebrate that holiday here. I was in Portland seeing my sister, and her friends. It was a lot of fun. Portland, it is very rainy and very cold. It just kind of like cut to the bone, that kind of cold. But we were able to do a lot of activities. We got some card games in. Went and saw some stuff. I had a really good time, but it was damn cold, and I was very uncomfortable the whole time. Very uncomfortable.
So much room for activities.
like nunchucks and yeah.
For
Is that what you're
our-
doing?
for
Is that where you're
any of
going with
our
that, Napoleon
Canadian
Dynamite?
listeners,
Yeah. That's right.
This is our Thanksgiving, like 6 or 7 weeks after your Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
Theirs is in like the middle of October, usually. Like I think it's the second Monday
Who's
in
this?
October. Canada.
Oh, right.
Canadian
I forget about
Thanksgiving.
them. America
I
Junior.
forget about them.
Up north, America Junior. Yeah. So I hope everyone had a fun and had a very delicious and fun Thanksgiving.
They
Do you
love
guys
when you
have
say
your
things like
the
that too,
usual? Do you guys have the usual Thanksgiving spread?
I did. Had a smaller scale thing than what I've had in the last couple of years. It was pretty nice. Not a whole bunch of people. Got to just kick back and relax and have a couple of beers, watch some sports on TV.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, we did the usual. Just we all usually gather at my aunt's place now, and my family, direct and otherwise and stuff. Like it was like 17 of us or something like that. So good times.
It's a solid
Good food.
number.
Indeed, it's I ate my weight in stuffing and mashed potatoes this year.
Nice.
I love both those things, man. You cannot go wrong with those. The turkey was very well made. It wasn't too dry. It was like perfect. It was a good Thanksgiving. It was
So-
very tasty, this one. So
I have a theory about mashed potatoes, and this is
Oh.
you understand.
Okay.
Well, so mashed potatoes are delicious, right? We can all pretty much agree on that.
of course.
So the amount of mashed potatoes gets eaten is a direct correlation to how much gets made. Like if you make more mashed potatoes than you've ever made before, they will be
They will all.
eaten. They will
Yeah,
just be
of course.
consumed at that level. So it's like there is no right amount to make because it's like an exponential growth thing. If you make double will be eaten. It's like when
Nice.
they see the big bowl full, will be like, well, there's extra in here this year, so I'm gonna take a little bit more.
Well, Mashed potatoes are delicious, man.
Sure, no, I understand.
I don't understand those people that are like, I don't like mashed potatoes. I'm like, what? Are you a human being? Are you a psychopath? Why don't you like mashed
I mean,
potatoes?
Thanksgiving is free reign to eat all the starch and carbohydrates that you want. So
It
It's
is.
true. It's true. I'm on a diet and I didn't adhere to it. So
no, I feel like I'm going to die.
it's
Oh,
true.
you can't. I
My
mean, you gotta have
stomach
it.
has
Yeah.
been broken since Thursday.
What else is going on this week? Did you guys watch anything? I watched a ton of stuff this week.
I watched something I wanted to talk about, but now I forget what it was. Okay, it'll come back to me.
No.
It'll
I
come
watched
back.
some stuff. Go ahead.
Actually didn't watch too much this week. This week's been busy with getting ready for Thanksgiving stuff and cramming in what kids sports stuff that was active this week. So not a lot of watching. A lot of cartoons with the little one, things like that.
Nice.
So
How's the family My Hero Academia going? You guys
we had to
finish?
wait. So so we had to wait because we watch the English dub version instead of the subtitled version. Subtitle
Okay.
comes out 2 weeks ahead,
Ah.
and apparently the really good episode I have to wait one more week for. But we're gonna watch, and we don't want to just watch two things and then on a cliffhanger. So we
Mhm.
got we got one more week, so we can watch three back to back to back. And
Okay.
I am itching because I am avoiding spoilers like like the mask dodging bullets. So I'm
That's
just
gotta be tough.
trying very hard. So, but yeah,
That's
it's
fair.
it's
Good,
gonna
good.
be epic.
What about you, Roger? Anything?
No, I don't remember, but I'm sure it'll pop up to me at a very inopportune time, partway through.
Perfect.
Be like, oh, I remember what I wanted to talk about. Yeah. Yeah.
Right after we recorded last week, I sat down on the couch and I rewatched Super 8 again. Um,
All right.
well, it's one of those movies that always tickles me because I think Super 8 is actually like on the scale of, there's like good, great, wonderful, excellent. Like I think it's upper. I mean, I don't think it's excellent, but I think it's somewhere between great and wonderful. I really think it's got some of that magic touch there, and I always like to revisit it. I love those because that's JJ at his height. That was in the middle of Star Trek and everything else, and all the lens flares in the
Ooh.
super shallow depth of field, and it's just using the camera to like it's full like you use the frame well, and a lot of that stuff is so good. And what reminds me of some of that is it used to be kind of that more subliminal stuff. And you guys remember the story of Super 8, right? It's Joe Lamb is the young boy whose father, Kyle Chandler, is a cop, and and the wife and mother is killed by an accident at the factory.
Yep.
But she took someone's shift that was too drunk to come to work, so she died instead of him. And then the the daughter of the guy who was too drunk to go into work and hangs out with Joe Lamb, Elle Fanning hangs out with Joe Lamb, and it's just the whole thing. Like and what I really love is some of that stuff, and some of that stuff I really used to watch clips of when I went to sleep, and hundreds of movies on my phone and access to streaming, and was the argument between his young son Joe Lamb and Kyle Chandler, the father, the cop, who's after he's fed up, he's like, "You're not hanging out with those kids anymore. I don't care. You're not hanging out with that girl. Her father's a selfish son of a bitch." It's one of those. I know, Chris, you don't like the kind of like the intentional like wandering camera movement, but it really
Yeah.
that was a time when it was still very much used to like really upplay the tension in the room and like, like this is pay attention here. The director's telling you it's
Okay.
and then some of that subtlety stuff is when they start yelling at each other. The kid's like, "No, you don't know who I am." And the father's like, "You're not going to hang out with her, and I don't want you." It's just, and then he's like, the things he says is so on. I don't know if it's too on the nose because at that point, Sheriff Pruitt, the sheriff is missing because he's been taken by the monster. And, his whole rebuttal to his son is, I used to have someone else to rely on, but now it's just me. And it's like meaning the mother, like a double entendre type thing. Like, I don't know. Is that kind of stuff too on the head for you guys? Like nail, like, or is it tasteful or is it just now that was too on the nose?
I mean, it depends on the scenario. I
I
mean,
always try to
Super
think of
8's
it.
pretty heavy-handed with it, though. So
Yeah, I try to always think about that stuff in like the context of like how do actual people talk? Like, what are the
Yeah.
conversations that real people have, and what sounds like a real legitimate reaction? There are certain lines of dialogue that when they're given, it's like no one says things that way. Why are you doing this? It's like it sounds almost like very theater kid esque in a way sometimes when like lines are delivered, and it's like it's not something that people talk like not ways people talk. So,
Right.
but I think Super 8. I think Super 8. I think it's like it's playing with that line in the point that you're talking about the dialogue. I think it's okay though because it's trying to make sure that the like it wants the audience to hear that specific like you said like that double entendre kind of thing that they're doing there too. So the best way to make them hear it is to make it stick out in a way, and I think that's what the purpose is there. Or it was an accident and it worked out for him, but
sure.
that's why I
And
think
I
it's
know
good.
like it's another question I always have is when they're in the tunnels and they're trying to get out. And of course they went down there to rescue Alice and they find a bunch of other people. And of course the thing corners them. And it
Mhm.
like the thing is deadly and it's been abducting people and it's killed some people. And like of course but you have like the J.J. Abrams who was trying to appeal to the Spielberg E.T. side of things. And like the Spielberg E.T. side is the kids are unique. Kids are what's the word? They're not exposed to bad things. What's that word? They are
Sheltered.
Innocent.
innocent. And it's
Oh,
like instead of the thing corners him, and Joe Lamb's like, he starts yelling at him like, "You don't want to be here. I know why you're here." And then of course it doesn't hurt him, even though it's hurt everyone in its wake up to that point. Of course it doesn't hurt them because you can't in the script. But like that's the part of the magic I love. And then when he's holding the chain, the mother's locket, the last thing the thing needs to blast off and go back into space, and he does, and like he finally is able to let it go when his dad's holding right behind him, and it's like it's all so poetic. But I wonder if something I've fallen in love, something I've been asking myself with film is, especially recently, because I've just kind of had my worldview of things has been kind of shifted, and I wonder. I mean, I'm at the best of times. I'm struggling, but I wonder in my struggles to understand things is like, did I fall in love with a version of film that is so romanticized that I see it a certain way and other people don't? I guess I've been asking myself that question lately.
No,
I don't
And
know.
Super 8's kind of at the focal point of that right now for me.
I think you've always kind of seen film, at least outside of like the average movie viewing. And that's just my short time knowing you. But like, I think that it's just because the way you watch and appreciate film. I don't think it's a bad thing, but I do think it is different. But I don't know.
you're
You
a
also
sucker for a
see,
happy ending too.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
always
yeah.
contest that, like, for instance, in the scene where he's holding the locket and the locket is being drawn to the water tower where the thing has collected everything and is waiting for that last piece of metal to then blast off and go into space, is like, that's what the scene is telling you, is like he's holding on to something, the locket with his dead mother in it. He's holding on to it. He doesn't want to let it go. And then at the end, he's able to let it go. And then, because that's what the movie's telling you. I see that as poetic and beautiful. And other people are like, that scene really didn't jive with me. I'm like, what? How
Well,
did it not jive with you? That was the scene.
there's a fine line between poetic and beautiful and corny.
That's fair.
No, I don't mean that to be
Yeah.
like to knock that. It's just there really is, you can tip that scale one way really quickly by just one cheesy ass line of dialogue. You can always allude to stuff, but when you have to flat out come out and say it, sometimes it just doesn't work as well as people think it should.
I agree.
Well, in the whole idea of it being poetic versus corny, or what have you, I think that it doesn't. And like your question, Grayson, was like, I don't think it matters if someone doesn't see the poeticness in it. I don't think that part in that way is written for the people that will see it that way, and it's not wasted on those that don't. It's just not as effective for them,
That's
because
fair.
a lot of that stuff is they'll see it, they'll think it, or they'll think it at least on a surface level. They'll make the connection of like it's waiting for this to go, and he doesn't want to let go of it, right? Like people will see that he doesn't want to let go. They know why he doesn't want to let go, but like it doesn't go any deeper than that. But other people will see that there's deeper meaning and like layers to it and such. It's not.
Sure.
It doesn't. I don't think it hurts in either direction. No one person is better off because they see it in a different way. It's just how their movie experience is. That's the
Fair.
beauty of it. It's like
That's art.
movies, music, books, comics, all that kind of stuff. They all have their own like levels of and like versions that people enjoy for different reasons, and it's up to the individual.
Well, it's subjectivity, and that's something I've always contended with. I don't think the level of subjectivity is nearly as big in film as it is in like standing in an art gallery and looking at a piece of art. I've never thought that was the case, but even in my early days watching movies, I'm like, how can other kids my age not fall in love with Beauty and the Beast and want to watch it every day like I do? How does this not happen? But that's just me asking really arbitrary questions. Anyway, so other things I watched, I kind of was going on like a spiritual thing this week, and just some other things I wanted to make sure I got out there was,
Buddy, are you okay?
like I said, I'm struggling with something pretty severe, but I'm
Good, let's
dealing
hash that
anyway.
out right now. Let's keep going.
The Boy in the
Let's talk
Striped
about this.
Pajamas. Did you guys ever watch that?
God damn you, dude! Like,
The Boy in the Striped Pajamas is that an animated film or not?
No. That's
that's a World War II.
David Thewlis is
yeah.
the Nazi commandant, and his family's in the house, and his
Yeah.
son, by a very young Asa Butterfield, meets on the other side of the fence a kid Shmuel who's in a concentration camp, and
Yep.
they becoming friends. And like the ending, because the mother, when the wife finds out, she's really detested, and she pulls away from David Thewlis' character, and then he has to send the kids away, and then because the kids are so young and it's kind of like an idealistic time, is they're like, oh well, the Asa Butterfield, who is the Nazi commandant's kid outside the fence, is like, I'll put on those clothes those funny clothes you're wearing, and I'll go in there and I'll help you find your dad, Schmoll, who said his dad disappeared. They end up being herded into and then like it's a race. It's a super race to like stop because the parents figured out that that's where he went. And then like as you see like the guys pouring the gas, and it's heartbreaking, but a very good movie
Yeah.
nonetheless.
Fun
When was the last
family
time you
film.
guys watched Noah with Russell Crowe and?
Can I go back to your Nazi Commandant movie? I thought what you were getting at was an old animated movie called Little Nemo,
I know.
and
I remember that movie.
that
Yeah,
movie is legendary for
is.
being niche, and that no one's seen that goddamn thing. It seems,
Yeah.
but that's where I thought you were going. Which completely different vibe there. One is a fun family movie. One is not.
Well, I would argue that there's merit. I mean, there's a huge amount of merit to both. Thank you for that sound clip, Roger, that they won't hear, but we will.
They will hear it.
Otherwise,
They
okay,
do
good.
hear it. They do.
Yeah, I think there's merit to both. I mean, it's it's telling a certain story. It is.
Mm.
I haven't watched Noah. It's been a while. Like, I mean, I'm talking like decades since I've
I
watched
don't think
Noah.
I've ever watched Noah.
That's a really intense movie. Really intense. Again, Chris, it's one. I know you and I are both Ray Weinstein lovers, so it's it's him and his voice, and he's getting all these people in biblical times to take the ark that's being defended by Russell Crowe's Noah and all the and like the rock golem creatures that are trying to protect it while it's being prepared so it can succeed. Really kind of on the nose, but then again not. And like Hermione is his daughter, and she gets pregnant, and it's just like a whole thing. But I remember that movie didn't do well, and I'm like, why didn't it do
It
better?
didn't.
It should have done better than it did.
It's just, I think it's subject matter plus just the timing of the film. It just
I just remember
think that happens to a
for
lot
a
of
while.
films.
Russell Crowe wasn't highest on everybody's list.
Yeah,
True.
he's a little on the outs. Yeah, a little on the
just
outs.
a
That was 2014, so I think he was still kind of on people's like, okay, he's had some stinkers, but I'll still give him.
Pretty
That
sure
was
he
before
had
he
physically assaulted people by that point, though. Too.
Oh, had he? Yeah, probably.
That's peak. I'm gonna hit you in the face.
And the last one I want to mention briefly, and I know we're talking for a while here, is The Last Rifleman. I know you guys haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that one. No.
That's the Pierce Brosnan. He's a 92 and a quarter veteran, and he's making his way back to Normandy, and he ends up at one point on a bus with German survivors who are like, and then like very serious conversation because like the German tries to be friends, and he's like, I cannot be your friend. We cannot be friends, even though this was 75 years ago. I'm not your friend. Please don't treat me. And then like it's a weird understanding. Like the movie tries to frame it in a way that like that hate is still there, and like I get that, and that's one of the reasons I like that film is like it had to be someone of Pierce Brosnan's caliber to pull that off, because of course he was the story is he takes place in an operation where him and his best friend, he's a coward, doesn't run out in the field. He survives, marries his best friend's girl, who's always been in love with the other guy, and he knows it. And in the beginning of the film, she passes away, and that's what puts him off on this journey to go back one last time to Normandy. And it's a really heartfelt, heartbreaking thing. And I wish more people would see movies like that and talk about them, because I think those are the movies that like really are worth talking about and capturing part of the human spirit, even though it was an awful part of the human existence 75 years ago. It's a very important part. It's just one of those things that I really wish you and Chris would make time to watch that, Roger. I know you guys
I would have capped off your awesome, depressing week of movies by watching things like A Star Is Born and a couple other movies like that. Just like
I almost
really,
did, but I
oh
don't
my
think,
god!
I don't think I could have
Schindler's
taken that one.
List.
Yeah, right.
No, but I did right before I went on the plane. I had just finished Jeepers Creepers. I love Jeepers Creepers. That first movie I think is levels of brilliant that movies just don't do anymore.
What
They
a turn of face that was.
Yeah. I really like those. At least the first two. The third one was not great. I was very disappointed in it. But anyway, so we're long on the tooth. But let's start a show. Unless there's something you guys want to talk about otherwise.
Nah.
Nah.
I mean,
all right.
You want to talk about football?
We will not do that on a movie podcast. Let's start a movie. Let's start a show though. Let's go to the box office. Chris, have you seen these numbers? I know Roger and I briefly talked about them before he showed up. Have you seen these numbers?
So I am giving Grayson full reign to talk about the global box office this time.
Okay.
So Chris, do you have any idea what these numbers are?
No.
Okay, number one is Zootopia. As a surprise to no one. Number one, 96.3 million domestic. For a worldwide, Chris, of 586 $256 million, which means the
Jesus, week one?
international was well over $400 million.
So
Holy
by
crap!
the time this weekend officially shakes out, which should be
Soon.
late Monday, well,
Mhm.
late Monday, they'll get the full total. It has potential to be the single biggest global box office weekend ever.
Like ever?
Like bigger than Avengers Endgame ever.
Wouldn't you? Isn't that
Wow.
weird that Zootopia is the movie to do that? That's nuts to me.
Well,
but-
we're gonna talk about this during our mini Zootopia talk, but there's a reason
Mhm.
why it took 9 years for another Zootopia movie to get made. And most of it revolves around, in America, Zootopia was a moderate success.
Mhm.
Globally, Zootopia is a massive success.
Oh yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but
To me,
that's
that's
the
just-
short
that's
version of what I
mind-blowing.
was going to talk about later. So
Okay, number 2. We'll get into that more later. Number 2, Wicked for Good, another solid week, 62.8 for a worldwide take of 393. So it's also doing quite well for itself.
very good.
Now You See Me, Now You Don't, number 3, 7 million for a worldwide of 186.
I love to go like basically 100, basically 65.
7. And then down to 4, Predator Badlands, slotting at number 4, 4.8 million for a worldwide of
real
173.
quick about Predator Badlands, and I know this is a
Mhm.
weird thing to bring up, but this is now the highest grossing Predator film theatrically of all time.
Oh, okay.
Is it really?
So, yes, it is.
Good for it.
As of this weekend.
That's pretty awesome to know, actually.
Yep.
So that's number 4. Number 5, The Running Man, 3.7 million for a worldwide of 60 million. Not great. I would have lost money on that bet. I would have thought that would be a lot higher by now. But then I watched the movie and
we watched
I
the
would've
movie
been
and then
that,
realized, okay.
I mean, you see elements in play like Edgar Wright and Handsome Glenn, and you're like, okay, well that should do something. But then we just coming off the Smashing Machine, all those elements in play. Although I don't know, did you guys see the article recently that Chris Nolan thinks that's The Rock's best movie ever?
What movie?
He's not wrong.
The Smashing Machine.
So okay, hold on. I mean, it depends
acting
on.
wise, sure.
Yeah, like he's never had to act in a movie ever until that movie, right? So it's like from that perspective, I can absolutely see what they're saying and like not disagree with that take, right? But like if you want to say his most successful film, no. If you want to say one of his most iconic films, no. But like from his best movie as an individual actor, he put on an actual, like he had to act. He actually like took a character, took it in, embodied it, and was able to for an entire film dive into the shoes and be that person. So that's the first time he's really had to do that.
He
There's
didn't
been
play
a
The
few of them, I
Rock for the
think.
first time in a movie. He didn't play The Rock for the first time in 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Is like this is the first time he hasn't played Dwayne.
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
Yeah,
serious.
exactly.
I mean, like, look, that's there are plenty of actors that live that life. Like Vince Vaughn is one of them. Keanu is basically one of those people. Everything he does, he's just some version of himself now, which is, I mean, it's a great place to be if you can pull that off. But Dwayne Johnson has been The Rock since 2003.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? Like legitimately since WWE or WWF, whatever it was at the time for him, he has been basically that guy. I mean, he's charismatic. He's a big dude, larger than life. And that gets him through most of the stuff that he can do.
I think you're forgetting the Scorpion King in 2001, 2002. Yeah, there you go. There you go. No, all right,
Brother.
fair enough. I know. I'm
I
amazing.
almost hit the horn again.
I know you did. Number 6 through 10, real quick. Eternity Rental Family. I want to see what that one's. I almost watched that one again, and I didn't. I want to though. It's
What
just a
is with you?
7.3. Very disappointing. 7.3. Number 8, Chris. You and I are excited. There's a Hamnet. That's made some money from early screenings. I'm happy. It's just over 1 million. Sisu and Nuremberg, number 10. So there's your box office. Let's move this right along though.
Do it.
Yeah. Oh, before we move right along, I want to say that one article we will talk about in a few weeks when it comes to Avatar time is there's an article I didn't read it. I saw the headline of James Cameron. There's something that maybe it was clickbait, but he's ready to walk away after the third film. And I didn't read it. I'm going to get into it this week. It was a longer one, so I just thought it'd be interesting to bring up during the Avatar discussion in a few weeks. But
Sure.
let's talk about a trailer real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
This trailer's been available for a while in some form. This is a slightly newer one, although a lot of the same imagery, but it's just kind of ordered differently. The Mandalorian and Grogu. I have some thoughts. Just give me 30 seconds, guys, and you guys can say whatever you want.
Whatever
I
I
have
want.
some thoughts.
Whatever I
Oh,
want.
buddy.
I mean, within, let's just keep it show oriented, and I'll let you use your best judgment. But
So not what I
my
want to
thoughts
talk
on
about at all.
Mandalorian and Grogu are, in this trailer, of course, we see Sigourney Weaver, which is a big deal. She is a big deal. Even, I mean, if she's in a movie with space creatures and aliens, it's a big deal. If you have to ask why, you need to watch more movies. But
Why?
that's a big deal.
Oh.
And I wonder, one of the questions I had is, why are we getting this? Why do we care about Mandalorian and Grogu? Are Star Wars fans excited for this? Are they happy? Are they still hopeful that Star Wars is going to be on the comeback soon? Because I just don't think it's ever going to happen. But
Do
we'll
they have a
see.
new hope for this movie? You mean?
Wow, that's hilarious. Yeah, that's
Exactly. You know what? You know what I need next? I need the Family Feud strike noise.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
Strike
yeah.
buzzer. Yes.
well,
Dear
I
listener,
don't.
if you have other things that you want me to add to the soundboard, please let me know.
How many times? Because if this, I mean, I know this was started as Mandalorian season 4. It just kind of morphed into a movie.
Oh,
I just don't know what we're getting from this.
hold on. You said I know that. So is that like something that you actually have factual, or is that like a strong feeling like you've seen this before kind of deal?
Well, maybe I just revealed something I knew.
I'm pretty
That I-
sure that was reported a while
Yeah,
ago.
yeah. Okay, I'm thank
Okay,
God
okay.
that was reported, because like if I didn't, then I knew someone. I may have just inside information, but
Gotcha. So I mean,
Yeah.
like interestingly enough, while it's not a known fact, that's how at least some of us felt when we watched Moana 2. Moana 2 was supposed to be an episodic that it turned into a film
On
because they
Disney
thought they could get
Plus.
more money out of it. Yeah, so it's funny to see Disney do do that switcheroo on two different properties and like two in each direction, thinking
Well,
that like one will serve better someplace.
I have a theory on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of that is they are realizing how expensive TV is to make
Yeah.
for large scale projects. So Mandalorian has been very expensive for a while.
Mm-hmm.
One other thing I'll talk about real quick, and it's just because it's a similar vein, is the final season of Stranger Things came out this week.
Yep.
The 5th season, like the Stranger Things is not something I particularly care about. I did see the price tag for this season though. Have you guys seen that? How much it cost Netflix this
No.
season? $480 million.
Good Lord. Good
Jesus.
Lord.
Half a bill.
Pretty much.
God damn.
Pretty much. So
All right then.
I think Disney realized that instead of trying to market for an entire year for Mandalorian, that just make it one long episode
Well,
and
yeah.
just put it
Yeah.
out there.
Well, the other thing is that Moana 2 was rumored to be a series on Disney Plus, and then it ended up making $1 billion.
Yep.
So why would they waste that chance for this? Is probably kind of like what they're thinking too. It
Well,
just
I
it
think
makes sense.
I think with Mandalorian and Grogu, and this is not so like I watched the show the first couple of seasons and it was fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It was never overly like, oh, this is the best thing that you got to watch. Like I didn't get overly excited when I was like, oh, a new episode comes out today. Like that really wasn't a thing for me.
Yeah.
My whole thing with it is I think they look at it as it's very marketable from toys and things like that because
Oh yeah.
Grogu, Baby Yoda himself is a very marketable thing. The Mandalorian itself, the whole armor and their whole mythos is more popular now than it's ever been. So I think they're trying to capitalize that. And like, look, they had a hole in their schedule. So like, I understand filling that up with a property that you fully own. You don't have to do much, and it's an original thing. So while you have to stick within the Star Wars mythos, you don't have to follow a Skywalker line or anything along that. So I think that's a big deal for them as well.
So it's a positive.
Because like, look, no one right now, even like the most diehard Star Wars people, will tell you that Star Wars is in a great place, especially in movies, right? Like, no one's coming to bat for them right now. And this is a good opportunity for Disney to be like, look, we can do other Star Wars stuff that's not a Skywalker. We can do that. We don't have to have a Vader. We don't have to have this. We can do other things. Whether that means anything really big for this movie, I don't know. But I'm sure it'll make a bunch of money at least 1 week, right? It's got a mid-July release. They expect it to be a huge tentpole.
Yeah, I think it. I mean, it's got potential. I mean, I don't know if Zootopia numbers, but it's certainly got potential.
But one thing you're going to learn coming up for a while is not a whole lot's going to make Zootopia numbers. I mean, Avatar, and then nothing till summer.
Actually, I don't. I really hope Avatar does better than Zootopia. Not for any reason. Like I'm a more. I just for as much as it costs, and for as much as it's cost me, as far as not getting other James Cameron movies, like it better make $1 billion in the opening weekend. It better make close to $700 million.
Like the third
only because like what are we doing?
One of James Cameron's Horcruxes from his soul. Just split them off.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it does only because I just want it to succeed. But, and I want, I like big Decembers. Last December wasn't a big one for movies, for theaters. It just wasn't. And I like that new cash flow, the influx. And I just talked to some theater owners
of this
week.
Series, like at all, really? Do you guys really care about this?
About what?
Mandalorian.
That's what I was saying is I know, Roger, that conventional wisdom would tell you getting away from the Skywalker line is. I think the only reason they're doing that is because they have to. Is because they've realized that they just can't milk that for any other. It's just they've destroyed it. It's in the ground. It's done. They have to let that sit, and they have to like Jason Bourne it for a while, where you have to have a character like Nikki, for example, who's cornered. But she's already put out the SOS for Bourne, and then Bourne is like 30 minutes in, boom, he comes, kills everyone. Like they've got to do that. That's how they missed that opportunity with Luke. I don't know how you didn't. I don't know how you didn't see that opportunity with Luke. But my point of the Mandalorian and Grogu is instead of just go away for 10 years, is using these movies, The Mandalorian and whatever else they're doing in the Disney Plus space. Is that smart? Or just let it go away for 10 years and then have a teaser trailer in 9 years and people be excited again for the lightsaber and Skywalkers and everything about it. That was my question with the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer.
Okay. I agree with you that I'm glad you used the word destroyed for the Skywalker line, because they really have. They've taken that family, that line, that lineage, that like that character, like possible like tree that they had, and they've made all the wrong decisions with it, because it isn't that no one cares about it. It's just that they have given everyone a reason to stop caring about it, is I think the hardest part about watching Disney's version of Star Wars come to pass. They're not doing themselves any favors with any of their current product at this point. Like the Acolyte basically torched and burnt to the ground everything that the actual Star Wars fandom cared about, and went to appease an audience that doesn't even watch the show. So with them pushing this out into theaters, I'm willing to bet that this is what we have. Let's get some money from it, and then go back to the drawing board, because I know Kathleen Kennedy's out. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
So it's one of those things where, like, I think they're putting this out. They're going to recoup what they can, and then they're going to hopefully go back to the drawing board with it all. I don't think they'll stop. I don't think they'll. There will still be Star Wars stuff.
It'll never.
Yeah,
stop.
and they'll keep putting it out. But I'm pretty sure that this is going to be. This won't make a lot of money. Not a ton of it. It'll probably make money, but there's enough Star Wars fans that are not happy with the way things have gone and won't support it at this point. I'm willing to bet. And then I think that's where it'll end up going. I think it'll come out, it'll make some money, and then we're gonna see hopefully some changes to Star Wars at the very least for the Star Wars fans, because
at least a different direction for a while.
I hope so, because there's that script that Ryan Gosling is supposedly attached to. I don't know how much. I just heard the rumor. I don't know if that's true or
the
not.
The Starfighter thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not interested in a movie. I'm not interested in like a fully in space in X-Wing movie either. Like, I'm just not interested in that whatsoever in Star Wars. It just,
you give me Star Wars Top Gun in space, I'm kind of in. I'm kind of in.
I'm not. That's not Star Wars.
Ryan Gosling being all handsome.
All handsome. That's what matters.
Funny.
I just don't
Actually,
think that's Star Wars, but
I mean, let's take another Ryan Gosling property and put it into an X-wing. Give me Drive and an X-wing.
Drive is good, man. Drive is good.
Drive's
Yep.
like if it ends with him just beating the shit out of people with a pipe wrench,
In an
I'm down with
elevator.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's make
Wearing
it happen.
what's that scorpion jacket that he has that scorpion
Yeah,
on the back.
the fucking sick jacket, bro.
Yeah, that's a good movie. Yeah, I was in
Now I
LA
wanna
when that
watch
was being
Drive.
shot. Yeah.
We're gonna
I
talk
hear
about
that was
Drive, deep dive into Drive next week when I watch it again.
And when you said no other movies are going to make money, Roger, you forgot about Mario. Mario was going to make money.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's the only non-sum. Well, I mean that's borderline summer release now, right? That's what, late April this
April.
year.
It's I mean,
Well,
they're releasing mid-April first off.
It's Easter.
so yeah, so that's the Easter weekend, and
Mhm.
the summer movie series starts officially. Their thing starts the first weekend in May, so it's not that far off of it. But no, you're right. Mario will make a ton of money. My mistake on that.
Yeah. Don't count
Will
my
it make
boy
as
out.
much as the original though? That's the question.
I bet it
but
does.
It'll make 1.5. It'll do better than the last one.
$1 more than Top Gun, please. All right,
Yeah.
let's move on. Movie recommendation. It is my week, and of course, we're talking about Zootopia 2 this week. So I wanted to kind
What
of
do you
stay
got?
a
You're
little bit in
recommending
theme.
Drive with
I
Ryan Gosling?
a
By
rare,
chance.
very hard rated R film. Yes, indeed. I'm going to talk about Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
All right,
And
that's good. I'll allow that. That's an excellent film.
well, I wanted to get away from for many weeks. I was trying to keep it. Let me get I closed out the window. For many weeks, I was trying to keep it like in theme and like in the same franchise, because everything's a franchise these days. But it's just another animated film that is very, very good. And when I say very good, I mean this is a 10. Puss in
Sure.
Boots: The Last Wish is excellent. It's available on Peacock and Prime right now if you have either one of those. Directed by Joan Crawford and Januel Mercado. Of course, you know the cast, but Antonio Banderas, Selma Hayek, Florence Pugh, Olivia Colman, Ray Weinstein. I forgot about him. Ray Weinstein, to name a few. But that's the third outing for Puss in Boots by himself. And what a movie that is. It's an emotional story. It works. There's not a lot of wasted dialogue in it. It's funny. It's very Puss in Boots. It's very in universe Shrek type of thing. I thought that was a huge win. And I haven't really seen on the same caliber. It's talking about animated films. That's like I put that on the same level as Beauty and the Beast, the 1991, How to Train Your Dragon, the Mitchells versus the Machines. I think is excellent, and like Puss in Boots like that's on a very elite tier of animated films. But God, that's a good one, man.
I
And if you
agree.
haven't,
I think Puss in Boots, Last Wish, or Puss in Boots 3, however you want to refer to it, kind of came out of nowhere as well.
did.
Because like the first Puss in Boots is a fine Shrek spinoff. Like it works. That character's funny in Shrek and works really well in the first one. Second one probably didn't need to get made, which is also kind of why like there's this big gap between 2 and 3. But man, 3, like the animation style is different. They do like this like darker cell shaded kind of animation, which is cool. But man, the story like with him facing his own mortality and death, like and for a kids movie to be that way, like it's awesome. I can't stress it enough. This is one of the movies. This is the kind of movie though that I have to tell people, yes, it's an animated movie. Yes, it's from like Puss in Boots and Shrek, and yes, it is a banger of a movie because it is. Like it checks every box for good. Like it's funny, it's very well written, and it has a real dark tone to it.
It
And
has
that's hard to pull off.
in a movie. I mean, we're talking about an animated film with animals in it, right? And we're going to talk about another one here soon. But like this one has unique enough characters that were inspirational to even other works, right? Ryan Coogler's, I think I told you guys this a while back, but Coogler said that the inspiration for his main villain in Sinners was the villain from this, the way that his eyes, yeah, the way his eyes would glow, the way he walked, the way the way he stalked up on people, but in an almost unmenacing way that the audience knew was menacing, but the people around him didn't see. So like you have a movie that's by the title alone you would think is an animated throwaway film, right? But like
Yes.
it
Sure.
came out and surprised a ton of people. It inspired characters in other works, and it's just an all around impressive impressive couple of hours, right? And
Yep.
that's really cool to see. And that whoever like the people that put that together did a really good job. It's a good movie.
It mixes it well with the guy who's looking at his own mortality, but also the comedy of the old woman walking by the at the animal rescue, walking by the bathroom, and he's standing on the and he's like standing up peeing. Like that's, to me, that's just underrated comedy that is so funny. And that just works so well. And in his obsession with coffee and caffeine, I thought worked well. But and then again, on the other side of it, like he's avoiding his own death, and then in the end, he faces it and comes out the other side. But what a great movie. That's on Peacock and Prime if you have access to those. If you haven't seen that in a while, you should check it out. I think you'll remember very fondly how good that movie really is.
That's
How
a great
powerful
movie.
that storytelling
Nice choice.
can be.
Good choice, man.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, sirs. Let's
Normally, I don't agree with your choices. This time, will be the exception.
thank you. Let's
It makes it-
so go ahead.
I was just say you make it easy to not agree with your choices, so this is a good one.
True.
I don't know about that. Jeez, guys. All right, let's switch gears a little bit. And of course, before we go into Zootopia 2, I want to talk about something. I feel a certain way about Zootopia 2, and it won't be hard to suss out in a minute how that is. However, I think the and expanded discussion we usually do for 10 or 15 minutes goes usually hand in hand with the movie we're talking about. And this one I think is just a little different, talking about maybe the necessity of sequels to animated films, and are they still original, or have they lost that spark? I would say we're kind of, if I'm asking the question, obviously I feel a certain way about it, but I kind of want to get what you guys think going into this discussion.
Well, I'll go first if that's all right, Chris. Is that all right?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I don't know if they've lost their spark. I don't know if that's the right feeling. However, I do, seeing a lot of the animated stuff that we've seen in the last couple of years, it's really hard, one, to make a movie that's not a franchise thing at this point, that's animated generally for kids or for families. There's a lot of that out there, and I understand it. Like money involved, like franchises are the way you want to go for that. But it really does make it overall. It's just a regular movie theme. It's really hard to make an original story, and the thing is when you put it from the animated side is when you do a movie that's animated, no matter what the story is, you have free reign to bend the rules with storytelling, right? In a cartoon or an animated, however you would like to describe it, you can do things that on screen that you can't always do with like real life characters. And I'm not saying, like, even as far back in like the in the olden days of glory Disney, where we had, like Mary Poppins like flying around and things like that. Of course you can do that, but it's a lot easier to have that happen in a movie like Zootopia. You can get sucked through a water tube for miles and miles and not drown. Like you can work that into a story. No one's going to believe that if it's a bunch of human beings, right?
Mhm.
So to be able to make a good story and weave it that way, it's tough in general. But the one thing you realize is the medium that you have is so flexible, and then a lot of times they just waste that opportunity. Like they try to shoehorn as much stuff as they can, and I hate to say it's for other reasons, but I guarantee a lot of it is to try to market as much of these things as possible for other things like toys and video games and TV spin-offs, because that's part of life at this point. And this is not me trying to like slap at Disney, but we just talked about Star Wars, right? And Star Wars is the prime example of like how you can like bastardize things into trying to spin off too much, to go too many different directions just because you'll make a bunch of money just by slapping a name on it.
Mhm.
And when you get something like Puss in Boots is a great example, because for all intents and purposes, Puss in Boots should not be as good of a movie as it is. And somebody really cared about that character, and they worked really hard to make a great story and then animate it very well to tell a masterful tale. And you see a lot of times where you just don't get that.
Hmm.
I mean, have you ever just watched regular TV lately? Like, it's pretty bad. Like,
Mm.
episodic TV at this point is bad, most of it. That's why people watch things on like HBO, like their stories and stuff are so much more glorified. So it's it's a fine line between writing an original tale and then trying to just not sell your soul into the machine that is big animation. Like
Hmm.
you think about it, some of the most successful animated things, um, like the Minions, right? For a while, I thought the Minions were funny as hell. Like what they did is it's kind of wacky, kind of zany. Like, buddy,
Hmm.
there's like a sixth movie coming next year or something.
Yeah.
Like that's not even a joke. I mean, good for them. Just listen, just keep milking that cow until it dies, I guess. But like, as an adult man in my 40s, I don't care. You know, and it's not meant for me, so I understand that they don't care either. But you know, this is where the money is, I
Well,
guess. I
there
don't know.
by so I know we talk about it all the time, but I mean we're lucky to have gotten Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, because the first two really didn't like do anything special in that space. It just, I mean, I think that the same reason you thought the Minions and the Minions are and were, they're very funny, and you get excited because they're chicken scratch and they're ba 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 ba, and the way they talk, that's funny, and it's comical no matter who you are, no matter what you're going through, what age you are. It's funny and lauded for the same reasons. But I think a lot of that secret sauce is Banderas as Puss is also one of those perfect casting choices too.
Sure.
Like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Um, uh, I would even, since we brought her up on this episode, Sigourney Weaver as Ripley. Like just those perfect casting choices that just work. No one else could do it. Imagine someone like Chris Hemsworth as Puss in Boots if they had to recast him for whatever reason. Not nearly as effective. It's like not nearly as effective. But then again, I'm always saying if there's a story to tell, tell it. I don't think Mandalorian and Grogu should exist, but by my own, anecdote is we wouldn't have gotten Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and that's the best in that franchise by far. So I mean, it's it. Who knows? How do you really? Because I don't know if I'd be okay when they're in a world where we didn't get The Last Wish. I just couldn't do it. So, but as far as animated films are concerned, anyway.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give a slightly different answer here, and I
Sure.
think it's just because I believe this is the scope that it's not just animated films. I think it's the scope of all films. I think that like in the end, what we got from what we're getting from Zootopia and Zootopia 2, I think, and your question being like, have animated films lost their spark, lost their edge, what have you? I think filmmaking in itself has lost its edge or lost its spark, and it's because of the importance of how much concern is about them turning profit. So the movies have always had to be successful and have had to make money because you can't make the next one without with putting all the money into it. But before at some point that became the number one weighted factor, and I don't think it was up to a certain point. And I think that the prevalence of how much like that goes into the decision making processes of what movies get made and which ones get a lot of push and such, and I think that matters. And I think that Zootopia 2, for example, is a lot like the first Zootopia in a lot of ways because the first Zootopia was successful, and to go outside of that box is risky, and we avoid risk. We're risk averse in this space,
Sure. You have to
and
be.
yeah, we'll see that, like that response right there. Like you have to be that like you have to be is the problem. You
Sure.
have to be. It's because of the perceptions and the expectations of what goes into filmmaking now. Where like think about some of the best movies that we've seen in the last 3 years. A lot of the Oscar nominated movies and such. A good bit of those don't make money. So like the return isn't the important part. It's the passion, it's the project, it's the idea. Whether we like those movies or not, there are so many films that get made for a handful of nickels or make a handful of nickels, either one of those
Yeah.
directions. And
Or both.
they're exactly. And they're some of the best things that we get to see. Those are some of the most unique ideas we get to see because like that's the risk, right? Is making something that's wholly unique, hard to make, hard to get your vision out there, or something that isn't talked about very much, or doesn't connect with a wide audience, but connects with enough people on a certain level. That's the risk where and now we don't get as many of those because we need to make money first. So I would say, to answer your question, to go back to that, Grayson, yeah, we probably are losing our spark, but it's not because we're bankrupt on ideas. It's because there are a ton of ideas that bankrupt movies, and that's the problem. It needs to be the fact that like we have to be we have to be okay with art that doesn't make a lot of money, and you won't get
Yeah,
a lot of people that are okay with that.
sure.
So
I if I could just chime in here for 1 second,
yeah,
gentlemen.
you're good. You're good.
I would think you're right. I think, well, the thing is, I think we are bankrupt in ideas, and I think the bankruptcy in ideas comes from, again, we have another Toy Story movie coming. Like
Sure.
you
Of
couldn't
course we
cycle
do.
through another property. You had to go back to Toy Story. Like you just said,
Mhm.
though, Toy Story is a known quantity. It is a $1 billion franchise, multiple $1 billion franchise at this point. It is a name people know. It's a name they trust. Woody is a character they know, they trust. Buzz, it's a sure thing. But look at something like Rental Family. I mean, the budget. What I think the budget I read somewhere was on like $1.5-2 million. Maybe I could be
Mhm.
wrong about that, but movie like that is something that I would prefer to watch. If someone's like, "Would you rather watch this movie or Toy Story 5?" I'm going to say Rental Family. I've seen 4 Toy Stories, and like some of them aren't that different. So, and it's, I listen to a lot of video game podcasts. I don't play so much anymore, but I listen, and it's I know the competition there is fierce because there's so many things being made, and there's only a limited number of people who buy the stuff, and everything is so much bigger. More time is required, and same with movies. It takes so long to make a movie, and you only have a chunk of the pie each week, and then you have to fight for it. And it just, I wonder if there's just too much coming out or being produced that it's a problem, because eventually I mean, we're seeing it with the streaming services. We certainly saw it over COVID with streaming services. They were cannibalizing each other. They were cannibalizing themselves at some point,
Yep.
trying
Well,
to do
so
content.
so to take your video game analogy to the next level, the video game space, there's so much of it, and that's because that the indie space has been allowed to take off. So you have a ton, like thousands of indie titles versus the AAA titles that come out, and at this point, people trust the indie titles more than they do the AAA titles, in most cases, most people. So they have been given this platform to kind of come out and shine and do their thing with things like Steam and their what's it called Epic Games and things like that, and then the good ones will make their way to Xbox, PlayStation, such like that. You know what I mean? So the indie space is actually doing very well, which is why there's so many video games at this point. You have the
I
movie
agree with
industry,
that.
which well, so you have the movie industry, which is bottlenecked. Hollywood controls everything, right? They decide what gets the biggest shines, the backings, goes to theaters, and all this kind of stuff, right? Like in one way or another.
Yeah.
Streaming services had a chance to be the champion of the indie film, and right, it's more expensive to make a movie than it is a video game in most cases, especially some of these indie titles that we see.
Well,
But we've seen things like Rental Family come out for a handful of nickels, like you just said, right, Grayson? So it's like, but it's so hard to get a return on that because it's so hard to get your movie seen. It's so hard to get it out there in the theaters. It's so hard to get eyeballs on it. Whereas we have some film festivals, right? But even that even that is its own version of a very exclusive club. Like you have to be approved to be on these things, right?
Well,
So it's like
they also don't mean what they used to mean either. It's like, it's just, things
true,
evolve, things change.
yeah,
Look at
and like
Anora. Like, Anora
mhm,
was. I don't agree with. I've really done some thinking on Anora. I'm not sure I agree with that movie the way that it is now. I'm not sure I agree with how it's set up, and how it was
mhm,
advertised and how it came to be. I'm just not sure I agree with all that.
yeah,
But I mean, it
well,
did very well, and it made a ton of money after it won awards, but it also did very well for itself in the award season, and
cleaned
good
up in
for
award
Nora. But
season.
it's like that
yeah.
was also one of those movies that came about because of the smaller circuits that it went around in.
Yeah, but
So
so to round up my point, like I believe that the streaming services had a very good opportunity to be the champion of the indie film. You know what I mean? Like you give these things a place and a platform to let people make their movie, get some screening eyes on it, and put it out there. Instead, it turned into its own money making amalgamation, self cannibalizing
Hmm.
structure. But they could turn that around. They could be the ones, and if if the streaming service want to push Hollywood out, that would be, in my opinion, the most effective way for them to do so. Not making their own movies that are huge budget and huge cost and out price tagging them. It's probably giving a platform to the small stuff to give people that care about movies and film a place to go see these things that never get seen. So
But
That's my
that's
sense
that's
on
one of the pluses of something like Shudder for people who like low budget horror. Like Shudder is just so much of that, and
It's
some of that
good
stuff's
for
really
it, yeah.
good. Some of that stuff is really inventive and it's creative and it's a positive. But also so
Uh,
much of it is also like those, like I mean, good
Hey,
lord, man, Prime has like
there's a
hundreds of found footage films, and they're all the same. They're all
there's
the
a lot of
same formula.
there's a lot of really bad video games out there too.
Yeah,
there
Like a
that's
are.
lot of
true.
really bad cheap indie ones that all do the same thing. You'll have that in any creative space because people are trying to bring something and emulate something that they loved at one point, right?
Well,
And
so
you know,
go ahead. Sorry, I don't finish your thought,
Well,
Chris.
that,
Sorry, I mean,
that's it. That's it.
well, I
I
wanted
have
to
I have
make
one
the bridge
last thing
into
that
Zootopia too, but
hang on.
go
I got
ahead.
one last thing
ahead.
before we end. This actually can lead us in. So the one real issue with animation in general is animation is expensive as a medium. It costs a lot to do animation in general. There's very little hand drawn stuff anymore. The people that can do that are expensive, and
Mhm.
like that is a gift that is dying. Like one of the mediums that just really isn't going to be used that much anymore. So that is prohibitive to having the kind of like the indie market for animation. But the one thing I wanted to really bring up, and after this we could be done, is for a lot of these things before they become an animation, a lot of these things come from books and comic books and things like that are far cheaper to make. So I think that that's a big step forward. If you want to make a great animated story, write yourself a great kids book or write yourself a great graphic novel and let somebody else foot the bill to bring that animation up. I think that's the way to look at that, and that would benefit a
Mhm.
lot of people.
I would agree. I would agree. The reason I wanted to bring is because leading into Zootopia 2, I guess this is my discussion, my choice of discussion today, because I didn't think Zootopia 2, I walked out of Zootopia 2, and we're getting to it in 1 second, is just kind of blah. But that's my lead into Zootopia 2, is I was surprised because I liked the first one. I thought the first one did a lot of moving and shaking in the right space. So let's get into it then, guys, if we can. Let's talk about Zootopia 2.
Yeah.
If you didn't listen to, if you're just now tuning in, if you clicked on the segment on YouTube or on the audio feed and you're just now coming into it, go rewind a few minutes, or click rewind. Click on the time code a few minutes ago. We didn't do an exhaustive discussion, but it is, have some of these movies kind of lost their shine and the reason for being, and you may enjoy that conversation as well. But that's going to be a big part of my discussion piece with Zootopia 2. However, let's go into it. So, do you guys know the numbers for Zootopia 2, the Rotten Tomatoes and the Metacritic?
I do
I
not.
do not.
So, it's 91 and 95 for Zootopia 2. Or sorry,
Okay.
that's Zootopia. No, that's Zootopia
Okay.
2. Sorry.
Okay.
That's
Which one is it?
sorry. I
This
so
isn't confusing at all.
Zootopia 2 is 91 and 95 with a Metacritic
Okay.
of
70.
73. So that's
Huh.
pretty good all
Okay.
around.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
original
Agree.
Zootopia's Rotten Tomato score is 98 and 92. So kind of flipped with which way it
Ooh.
went. And the Metacritic on the original Zootopia is several points higher at 78, but 73
Wow.
to 78, that's a big difference. I think that's a massive difference.
I mean, that's still
73 to 78. I mean, that's a 5-point swing out of 100. So,
Well,
in
it's a
relative
5-point
terms, it's
swing.
not.
it's
That's a
5% better.
5-point swing on after where 70 is must watch. 78 over 73 though I think it's a big deal. So it's
Yeah.
a big deal. But let's get into it a little bit. Let's talk about some of the cast in Zootopia 2.
Chris, count us in.
Oh, right.
So, this is for if we thumbs up or thumbs down the movie Zootopia 2. Count us down in 3, 2, 1. We got.
Yeah, I think it's a thumbs. I don't think it's
Yeah.
merit enough to be a thumbs down, but
No.
yeah, of
Mhm,
course. I
mhm,
think
mhm, mhm,
I would
mhm.
hear the argument for thumbs down. I certainly would. But let's get into some of the particulars then of
Yar.
Jennifer Goodwin and Jason Bateman both reprised their roles. Ki Hung Kwong, Fortune Einster, Andy Samberg, David Strathern, all in this one as well. Written by Jared Bush, director Byron Howard and Jared Bush. So, of course, this is a pickup to the immensely popular Zootopia. It actually starts like right after the first one, doesn't it? Doesn't have
Seems
to
like
A
start
a
week
like
couple
out.
of months later.
a few days
One
later.
week. 1 week after.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
1 week.
and it just kind of picks up, and it's more Zootopia, which I didn't expect. I thought they would do
Mortopia,
something a little different with it, but
Tutopia.
Zootopia indeed. But so let me just ask your guys' opinion when the credits started rolling. What was going through your mind?
Credits rolled. I thought when the credits were rolling, I thought I need to stay in my seat because the lights are still dim, so there's probably an end credit scene.
End
So that's what I
credits.
thought. So
Yes.
yeah.
But feelings towards the product you had just watched, I guess.
Oh,
I don't
okay,
know.
that. So feelings on the movie. I think I remember thinking it was fine. Like my kids had a good time. You know, my wife seemed to enjoy it. They chuckled and laughed and had a good time. My absorption of the movie was a little bit different, but in the end overall, I thought this movie's fine. Like it being in the Metacritic 70 range, whether it be low 70s or high 70s, that seems about right for what I watched. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I would agree with that. But again, it's to me, it's just, I just thought it was generic. It's well made, but to me, I just didn't see anything like Mitchell versus the Machines or Puss in Boots or the first How to Train Your Dragon. I just didn't see any of that I like. You
well,
need to see these days.
you mentioned Puss in Boots. Puss in Boots wasn't good until the third one, right? Not like really. So I think what I on that terms of what you're talking about right there, I think I saw Zootopia 2. I think I saw Zootopia the second time. You know
The
what I mean?
second one.
Is yeah, that's essentially what the movie was. It covers a lot of the same beats, right? Like
Yep.
it's covering, some sort of mystery and corruption. And the movie tells you that's what they're looking for. That's what Judy Hopps
Yeah,
is looking for.
yeah,
She's
of
looking for the next
course.
big case. So
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
they didn't even try to they didn't even try to like dress it in something different, and then that's what they're doing. It's literally saying we need to do this again to prove themselves, to prove they're not a one hit wonder kind of deal. So like, I got to see the same set of characters do the same ish stuff, but they already know each other. So I don't have to have the Batman origin story and watch the parents die. I get to just jump right into, good old,
Yeah.
my characters doing their thing.
When
I
was Zootopia? The original
10
So
years
okay, so
ago,
let's talk about that.
2014 or 16.
No, it's 16.
16.
Okay.
The one thing I want to bring up, and we can talk about regular Zootopia for 30 seconds on this, is how I feel about Zootopia 2 is kind of how I feel about Zootopia. You know, I understand that this movie's not really for me. Like I'm not the prime demo for that, and that's fine. Like I don't have to be. But I went with my family. I took my daughter, took my wife. We had a good time. Um, and it's not because the movie's bad, and it's not in spite of the movie being bad. The movie itself is fine. Like there are laughs there. It looks great, but I mean the story is just it is what it is. We're not doing some like earth shattering documentary here about how corruption is exposed in the Zootopia world. Like they're not bringing in the forensic scientists, forensic accountants to track down where the money's coming from here. It's not that serious.
Hmm.
But I think for a movie like Zootopia and anything in the Zootopia sphere, I don't think any of that matters. And to bring it back to the first Zootopia for a second, I think the entire reason this movie got made, because like 9 years is a long time
It is.
in between these type of movies. Like your prime audience, like if you took your 10-year-olds in 2016, it's unlikely that you guys made that family trip together in 2025 to watch Zootopia 2, you know? And like looking around the age group that was in my theater, it's a bunch of young families. And like that's a fun environment to watch a movie because like when it's just going to be little kids laughing and things like that when it's expected, that's a fun trip to the movies usually, right? Like kids are, you can't be mad that kids are talking or like saying things. Like you can't be that way. Um, and like, look, I'm the biggest movie snob there is. Don't talk to me. Be quiet as hell during a movie. Like that's how I don't want people to be near me,
Yeah.
in that kind of realm. But like for that kind of movie, it was a packed house, full sold out theater for me. And like there are little kids everywhere and they were having a great time. And like, you could feel like that, you could feel it. And like, I think that matters more. And I think Disney agrees with it. I think having that dynamic again for the second time because like the reason Zootopia is like Zootopia had legs, like monster legs, made I think it made $1 billion or almost $1 billion last time.
It did make $1 billion.
Yeah, it made $1 billion, and they didn't get a sequel to it for 9 years, which is wild to think about. But I think Disney should be very happy. Like they made a serviceable film that from an adult that critiques movies. It is what it is. It's fine. Like we don't need to dig. To me personally, I don't care if we ever talk about the deep plot points of Zootopia. Like it doesn't really
Well,
matter.
I think it. I mean, I think it does. Maybe not in like that like that direct line of reasoning, but little things like on the back of her phone, it was the carrot
Well,
with the bite taken out of the Apple logo. So it's like
mhm,
instead of
yeah,
Apple, it's carrot. Like
yeah,
Mhm.
that's clever. And I don't
yeah.
remember if
Yeah.
that was in the original Zootopia
Well,
or the
they do a
Coca-Cola
good
bear.
job of
Yeah.
making this like relevant to things that you would know now, and like that's important. So
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's one of the strengths here. In Zootopia, just for reference, it made just over $1 billion, $1,025,521,689. So just over $1
Okay.
billion, but still
Yep.
part of the $1 billion club, which is a big deal.
Yep.
This one looks like it might shatter that. Just sail right
it
past it.
it
I
should
certainly
cruise
hope.
to $1 billion. Once it gets over that, though, who knows?
Well, I know that with all the like, because I didn't know that schools had this week off, Thanksgiving week off out here. Schools didn't like there
For
was
the
no
whole week,
school.
huh?
Yeah, so
Wow.
I don't know if that like I don't know if that's going to work for like I don't know how December is structured anymore because I'm not in school. So maybe there's a more of a time off in December because they know kids don't come anyway, so they just give them more days. I don't know, but that's going to matter because
I don't know if that's accurate, but
well I
sure.
didn't expect them to get. Did you guys ever get the full week of Thanksgiving off?
No, but I mean,
Mm.
here's the thing: like my wife, who is an educator, and my daughter, who's in school, they after Tuesday didn't have school. I mean, that's pretty standard break for a lot of folks.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess. But I mean, the money making potential is there, especially in this month. So we'll see what it does. But I'm really hopeful that it does well. I mean, I've I saw a ton of people buying popcorn, but
Hmm.
you know what I've seen a lot of now, and maybe I have since stopped. Even with my inside connection, is all the AMC's I go, and there's a couple different ones because they have different starting times. Like for example, I got to see Zootopia 2 when I came back. There was an 8 a.m. showing this morning. Like I love the early showings. So, but that theater they have all the popcorn buckets from like the last 7 or 8 movies that had them, and they have so many of them. So maybe that's part of it. Is like
But
I
I
want
mean,
people to buy that stuff,
they
and
have gotten grossly expensive too.
yes, so it's no longer like a. I don't think it's more like a novelty thing. It's more like everyone's got them. Buy which ones you want now, but
Yeah, well, yeah, you have to do it because you have to have something.
yeah, it's just
What was the Zootopia one?
Zootopia had a few. Wicked's was cool. I saw those for the first time today. I'm not doing them anymore. But Zootopia's was Sloth. It was like a backpack of the Sloth Flash, and like,
Flash.
but it also had another popcorn bucket. There's so many now at AMC that I can't. Each movie has like 3 or 4 versions. So I've lost interest in them. But anyway, I something like Zootopia though, and I wanted to get into this is, and we've talked about this a number of times, is the inflated box office because of, and you're gonna get that with Mario. You get that with any kids movie, How to Train Your
Yep.
Dragon, Zootopia, Mario. You're gonna get that because for kids to go, adults also have to go, and vice versa. So I
Sure.
mean,
Well, no,
how
adults
much of
can
that
very
plays
much
in?
go without children if they choose to.
Well, sure, but most of the time they're probably gonna have kids with them if they're adults.
Sure.
But it's not you're not locked into that decision. Certainly not. But so I mean, I'm glad to see the box office is so strong for Zootopia. I never would have. Would you guys have guessed 500 over 500 for the worldwide opening weekend?
I mean, I knew it was going to be big. I was surprised it was like $500 million big, but I mean, those are not normal numbers to even consider. I figured it was going to make 100. I actually fell a little bit short on that. Um, but I mean, like, look, 96 million. That's a great domestic. It's going to run for a while. It's good for it.
I agree.
It's funding other movies for Disney. That's great
Oh,
because
Disney
they need
doesn't
more
need that,
money.
but yeah, it's
I
one thing
mean,
Disney needs
here's
is
the
more
thing,
money.
though. You say that, but Disney absolutely needs $1 billion. Every chance they can get, they need that $1 billion because you know for a fact that they will turn out a stinker that'll just get smacked and not make any money. You guys remember Strange World?
Mm-hmm.
That was 265 million that cost. So
Made
Yeah,
like
but
$18.
that's the odd one. They usually make
sure.
money.
Hey,
They usually
that
make
odd
money.
one comes out once a year, buddy.
That's true. I
We
mean,
just
sure.
don't talk about it.
That's true, I guess, and I totally understand you when you say stuff like that. I 100% get you on that. It's Chris. What about you? Did you expect the box office to be monster like it is?
So when we were talking about Wicked, I mean, no, not Wicked. We were talking about Avatar and its possibility of making so much money. The fact that Zootopia was one of two movies we listed that were also going to be reaching for the stars in the terms of how much money it was going to make. Yeah, I expected a big number, not 500 for worldwide on week one, but definitely. I think that this is going to have legs because I don't think SpongeBob is going to DC Zootopia 2 at this point.
I don't think it's gonna make
So
any money. Have you
I,
seen
am
the trailer for it? Like,
I
it's
I
just
I couldn't be less interested in SpongeBob, but again, that's just
it's
a property that's never spoken to me once. So
it's our generation that are going to see it. So whatever. It's like I'm not surprised, but I'm surprised by how much money it made on week one. We'll see if it has legs and can keep going. Especially with I don't think that the crowd that's watching Zootopia is going to be cut into too much by Avatar. At least not not in the long run. Maybe right at first, but the people that are going to go see Avatar multiple times probably aren't the same people that are taking their kids to see Zootopia finally or Zootopia again because there's not another kids movies out.
well,
that are
and it has
interesting.
3 weeks
Mhm.
before Avatar. Like,
True.
legitimately, I think right now, box office wise, you have to look at if Zootopia and Wicked can coexist for a while to see where these numbers really go. Because
I think they
looking at the
can.
next, I think they can too. But how much of a drop off? Because I mean, there are a bunch of other movies that come out, none that'll really make any real money.
Hmm.
Like next
Except
week, I think.
Avatar.
Well, but again, though, that's in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not, that's forever in movie world. Forever. I mean,
I
that's
expect Five
that
Nights
could
at
be hundreds
Freddy's.
of.
I think isn't Five Nights at Freddy's this coming Friday?
Yeah.
I think that's going to do better than you guys.
15 million.
You think so? Okay, well, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I thought the original surprised me, and the worldwide box office surprised me on that one. So I thought maybe there might be some legs for that, but maybe
I
I could be
mean,
wrong.
this movie should have came out in October.
I agree with you. I don't know why I didn't, but
Yeah, I was gonna say Five Nights at Freddy's when it launched, it came out at the right time. This one's coming out at a weird time.
yeah, I would agree with that. So let's get into the movie proper for a few minutes. The return, of course, of the two main characters by Jason Bateman and Jennifer Goodwin. And we just pick right up in Zootopia World. They're on another case. They are, of course, the outliers. I don't know why, because we went through this again in the first one. They prove themselves. They're being made fun of. They're really go-getter cops when they don't.
Zebros.
The Zebras were funny. Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps, and they get into another case, and it's another. There's some. We had a discussion before we started recording, and there is definitely some layers that, if you look into and really think about, you can peel back, which are there to peel back. But the basic story is there. It's about politics, corruption, and sussing out where that corruption is and solving it, which is pretty standard for, I think, animated film movies aimed at kids. It's pretty standard these days.
Technically, it's about genocide as well, but they don't lead.
There was a
into
lot
that
of
too much.
almost murder in this movie. I thought too. I wanted to say that. There was a surprising amount of intended murder in this movie. Do you guys?
Well, I mean, if you think about even your original Disney classics, there's a lot of almost murder in those too.
There's a lot of real murder in those. Like, what are you talking about? I mean, you understand that Cruella de wears a Dalmatian skin jacket, right? Like, skin multiple dogs to death to wear their
Yeah.
flesh.
Yeah, of course. That's.
But you're saying like it's a fucking normal thing. That's not normal.
No, of course it isn't normal. But I mean, it makes sense with the character, is what I'm saying. They don't have to bring it to light, but like that's
what
the character
crackheads do,
design.
man.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but to MDB. Okay, so what do you guys think of the story then? Because like this is the major problem for me, is it felt generic. It felt like a rehash of Zootopia. It felt like a rehash of the second Bad Guys film. This feels generic to the point where they've stopped, to me, that as long as they know they have elements in place, they've stopped caring. And this is Disney, so I fully expect Toy Story 5 to be the same way as this. I fully now expect that they've just put familiar elements in familiar places and are just going to cash in another $1 billion on a $200 million budget and just walk away with, after all advertising, walk away with $650 million in profit. That's what I think they're doing. I have a bit of a problem with that because this movie did not feel special. It didn't feel that there was passion behind it. It didn't even feel like Jason Bateman wanted to be there. As someone like, I love Jason Bateman. I think he can do no wrong. But in this one, Jennifer Goodwin was doing all the heavy lifting. I didn't think Jason Bateman sounded like he wanted to be on this at all. I thought it sounded like to me he's like, all right, fine, I'll do it. My paycheck. I want to be in and out in five recording days, in and out, done, out. To me, that's what it came off like. But then again, I'm usually the guy who's really excited for these and really, beating the drum for them. So why do I feel like that? Did you guys feel like that at all?
Go ahead, Chris.
I didn't feel that Jason Bateman or I can't remember her name now. You just said it.
Jennifer
I
Goodwin.
don't. Yeah, I don't think their performances seemed any kind of lackluster. I think out of everything that works or doesn't work in this movie, they work. They did in the first one, and I felt like they did in this one too. Now, is their story contrived and the whole like the miscommunication that they're having, the obvious miscommunication? Is it predictable and can you see it coming from a mile away? Yes. And the fact that part is predictable, maybe that kind of pulls away from like the suspension that or like the performative stuff, maybe. But I think they do a fine job. I think they're the things that make this movie work. And I think if it was off, I think my feeling on this movie would be way less. However, I do think that this movie is uninspired because, again, I said it earlier, it's just Zootopia again. There's not a bunch of different things going on here. There are some more characters or new things we're chasing, but it's all kind of in the same vein and a very predictable vein. It's very much, they're going to, one's going to be reluctant, one's not, one's going to be too pushy, one is going to be, withholding, and then they're going to have their spat, and then they're going to have to come back together again, and then things are going to happen to save the day. All those things happen in this movie, right? And that's the predictable part, and that's the part that's uninspired. The movie's fine in that sense. I think that it looks stunning. It looks like Zootopia, but 10 years later, which is great.
Sure, better. Yeah,
And
that's an improvement.
yeah, and the music is great. When the music starts playing, when they go to the party, I knew 10 seconds into that song playing that, there's the end credit song, and it really was, and it's catchy. My kids wanted to sing it the whole way home, put it on repeat. No, but it's just
No.
like all of that is there. It's just there's nothing new here. There's nothing that kind of like stands out here. It's very much we're waiting for the other foot to drop the whole time because we know it's going to, and we have reptiles. Okay, cool. And I think in next Zootopia we'll get another fun animal, and it'll be Zootopia
Birds,
3.
probably.
Yeah. So it's like I think all that's
Threetopia.
fine. All that's fine, but I think it's just that it's fine. It's a good fine, but it can't go above that that ceiling of this movie works, right? This movie doesn't do anything above and beyond. This movie's very safe in that regard because it made $1 billion once, and they would like it to make a lot of money again. So they stuck to the same formula, I think.
Yes,
So,
another billion, please. Thank you.
yeah, that's my opinion on the way it performs, the way it feels, and everything. Like this movie is it's not crunchy, right? It's smooth. It does exactly what you want it to do, what it's supposed to do, and then it would like your money, please. And then it goes away, and yeah, that's what it is.
I mean, I think that's very fair, and I feel very similarly. Like just saying it's fine, honestly, is the easiest way to describe this film. It never does anything that's like unexpected. Like there's no like shocking plot twist in Zootopia. There's no devastating murder that happens in this or anything like that would shake children to their core. Like that's not what this movie's for. And like, well, listen, we know for a fact that Disney is totally okay with killing parental family members to prove points in stories. Zootopia is just not that way. I think, if you like the first Zootopia, you should like the second Zootopia. If you didn't like this first Zootopia, I don't have any idea why you would watch the second one, but if you did, don't be surprised if you don't like it. Like that's on you at that point. And the one thing I would just ask is, if you do see this movie, have an open mind. Just realize who this movie is made for. And when you consider it like that, like, just be happy that it's there, because like there's nothing offensive about this movie. There's nothing that's going to drive somebody nuts and be like, oh, I can never watch a movie like this. It's too blah, blah, blah. Dude, it's a bunch of animal detectives that, do the same thing they did in the first movie, and they're probably in love with each other. Like, it's fine. It just is what it is. There's nothing wrong here. But like, if you expected like an earth-shattering expose on like animal trafficking to be to be what they deal with here in Zootopia,
Animal trafficking.
yeah, no, I said that for a reason. That's not what you're gonna get here. And like, look, this movie's not gonna win an Oscar. It won't even be nominated for it, and that Disney don't care. Like, this is their cash machine, baby.
This will be
Yeah,
nominated. This will be nominated for best animated feature. This will be
Why?
nominated.
There's only six choices.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
buddy, Toy Story comes out this year.
Doesn't mean it won't get nominated. I mean, if you know something's going to win, then getting a nomination still you're
You only get 6 nominations.
Well,
you only get 6.
This is better, but this is better than a lot of the other stuff that came out animated wise. What I'm saying, but it also is generic. So I guess I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if it got nominated. I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't, because it is generic as shit. But that's what it is. So I mean, I get it. But are we assuming Toy Story 5 is going to be better than Zootopia?
I do.
When does
June? Isn't it?
I don't know.
Well, so here's the thing, right? After seeing like the first 3 Toy Stories are masterpieces, right? Like, individually, they all stand by themselves. But like, even the 4th one, where it's not as good as the other ones, it's still a very serviceable film, and it still made me cry. You know what I mean? And I fully expect Toy Story 5 to be that way.
Oh, but it's not this year, so it's not competing with Toy Story 5.
Is it not this year?
No, it's next June.
Oh.
So I don't know why. I was like, why are we? Is that coming out in December? Did I just miss that?
Hold on. I was thinking, I consider that the same. It's within a 6 months.
Yeah, within a year's time. I like calendar time.
No, you're right. It won't be in this year's Oscars. That's right. You are correct on that.
So this one is definitely going to be nominated for best animated feature. But I also, on top of my head, I can't think of what else has been out there. But I mean, I can't see this winning either. So
it's not, it won't. But it like, I don't think I care, because they don't care. Like, they're not. They didn't make Zootopia 2 for an Oscar. They made Zootopia 2 for a Billy. That's why they wanted to do it.
I don't think that's how. I don't think they were like, I don't care about an Oscar.
No,
I think they tried for
Demon Hunters all the way, baby. Like, what am I talking about? They're cleaning up every Oscar you got for animated. My bad. Oh, I went stupid for a minute. It's okay.
It's okay.
That's
I
my
bad.
You. My bad.
I mean, Grayson. Like, honestly, like they didn't make this movie for Oscars. They made this movie because it's going to make money, right? Like, that's it. That's why it's here. Like, no one put this movie together because they're like, passionate people make this movie, but no one was passionate about the Zootopia 2 project, is what I think.
It's okay. Well, I mean, we can agree to disagree, but it's definitely going to get nominated.
Sure.
The Bad Guys 2 will get nominated. I'm looking at just a quick list I Googled. I don't know if I'm looking at a lot of things that like aren't mainstream, or they're Japanese, which aren't really mainstream yet, but like Demon Slayer, that's not going to be.
Nope.
No. I'm looking at other stuff too. Or what about the Dogman? Chris, you love that one. I thought that was earlier this year, wasn't it? Like January. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see. Yeah, okay. I'm not seeing much else. So, yeah, I guess the point is that I'm just not seeing much else. But, yeah, but I can't see it winning, and that's. I don't know. I keep going on about the winning Oscar. I don't know. This has been a weak year for animated films as far as like Disney and Disney and DreamWorks and the top studios doing things.
Well, DreamWorks put their whole animated team on How to Train Your Dragon.
You mean the live
one.
action? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the same. Like, it takes a lot of animation to do that. So
Yes, it does.
I don't
Yes,
know.
it does.
What else we got to talk about for Zootopia? Anything big? I don't really have anything else.
Well, so like I mean, like the cast is big, right? And
It
like
is.
the story they tell is fine. We've talked about it a few times now, but like so the idea of like what the crux of the movie is, I found it comical that the villains and the heroes kept on saying we need to find the original signed patent. Like my 7-year-old, hell, my 11-year-old, well, soon to be 11-year-old, has no idea what that means.
No,
Like it's, and I think that's a
buddy,
problem with like.
my 14-year-old barely knows what that means.
So okay, yeah. So like what I'm getting at is like that's not a good plot for the for the kids in the film, right? Like they don't know what that is. They don't care what that is, even if you tell them what it is. So it's like the story they're telling's very whatever in that sense. It's like they could have I think they could have found a different way to tell this story and that would have been better. It's fine, I guess, because the movie, is bright and flashy and has good music and has good sound and whatever. But like I don't know, like I'm not too keen on like like what that was because it's so much it's so much word vomit in to like just to get points across and like your character with the double cross that happens in this it's okay like the fact when it happened I wasn't taken aghast, you know what I mean, I wasn't I, my jaw didn't hit the floor, I was like oh okay, I like that character, I'm sad he's double crossing but whatever, here it is. And like
Palbert, son of a
it
bitch.
it comes and goes so quickly that it you don't even get to sit with it, right? Like he doesn't get to be nefarious in it afterwards. He's like he does this thing, he becomes spooky for like 6 or like 10 minutes, and then I think it'd have been better to have that double cross way sooner, and then like have him doing things and like accomplishing some villainy stuff. Instead, he got to be a hand wavy villain at that point. So I don't know. It very much like those things are very like undertoned and underplayed, in this that just like didn't do it for me. But again, it's all on the whole part of like I'm there to see Judy Hopps and and
Nick.
yeah, Nick, my Fox man, be funny, have witty banter back and forth, and then do their thing, which they do in this. And I chuckled a few times too, right? Like when the whole Bubba the Bub thing
Bub.
happened, and
Probably.
then later on when they wake up a whole bunch of bubs
Bub.
and they're and like they're just jumping on their heads and they keep on saying hey bub.
Hey,
I
bub.
laughed at that. That was funny. You know what I
But
mean?
I didn't laugh as often as I usually do in one of these. In a big budget Disney or Pixar thing, I usually laugh quite a few times. I don't think I laughed once in this. I think I may have smiled. I don't think I laughed, and I think that's a problem.
Your heart is full
I
of
don't-
sadness.
Well, I mean, sure it is, but let's talk about something like let's talk about like Andy Samberg, Idris Elba, Patrick Warburton, Danny Trejo, Nate Torrance, Don Lake, Bonnie Hunt, all Michelle Gomez, all like veteran voice actors who have done it before,
Sure.
and it just seems like we could have gotten more out of this cast.
The problem with that is like it's a great voice cast that kids don't care about.
No, they don't at
Kids
all.
do not care about that.
yeah, but they're good, right? So
Sure,
like
they are.
Idris Elba has what like 6 lines in this, and like
Then he gets
he's
tranked or stabbed in the face with a.
yeah, and he's great. You know what I mean? And I think while it doesn't even matter for the parents too much, I think having good like recognizable voices does matter to some degree. But like yeah, my kids don't care who's voicing these people, but they are iconic in that sense, and I always love the fact that like I can almost see the human character in some of the voice characters that are being done too, which is always kind of neat how they
Give me a
how
live action
they do that.
Zootopia reboot.
Hell yeah,
Gritty
yeah,
live action
Ca-
reboot.
cat style though. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Like,
Oh
Bold.
my lord!
Bold.
Idris Elba is here to ease that transition into the cats, into the Idris Elba we love. I always like Patrick Warburton's work. Danny Trejo I thought was great. It took me a minute to identify Strathern. I love David Strathern, but it took me a minute to identify him as
Mhm.
was his Milton Linksley, which was great.
Yeah.
Obviously,
It's here's the thing. It's tough to talk about an animated movie like this. That's just generic because it all is just generic. And even those big sequences where they were like running and then they were on a raft and then it just action, action, action. None of it stood out. And I can understand why kids like this. It's colorful, it's loud, it's fun. But the adults, I'm not quite sure because Rotten Tomatoes, for example, is based on like instinct. It was like, yeah, I liked it, or I didn't. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm surprised those numbers are as high as they are, given how dull this movie is and how uninteresting it is. That's why I'm surprised about. I'm not saying it's a bad movie by any means. I'm surprised by that. I'll just leave it there.
It's been 10 years. There's a lot, and I think Roger did a good job pointing this out. There's people that are seeing this one that have never seen the first one.
not in a
and
theater anyway.
yeah, and I think that Zootopia, while like it feels very samey and dull to us, maybe we're looking at it critically. We're looking at it with the lens of the first one in mind. I think that for most of the viewing audience, they're thinking of I enjoyed the first one, I'm gonna go see the second one, or everyone says the first one's really good, I'm gonna go see the second one. I think in that regard, this movie's fine. This movie does what it needs to do with that context. The movie checks all the boxes you need to for a good animated film. It doesn't check very much for the great animated film. It doesn't check, the boxes for a great sequel, but it checks every box you need for a good, enjoyable animated movie. It's all there. And I think the thing that tips it, that keeps it interesting for someone like me, even though I am looking at it critically, is that the movie is clever. And I don't mean clever as in its story is clever or the characters or there's journeys, but just the environment, because that's part of the fun of Zootopia. Like seeing the different animals work together in their daily lives, and like that's funny. All the animal puns, the dad joke puns, they're funny. And like it's that cleverness that Zootopia needs, and it that is all there. Like seeing the world of Zootopia, the environment, and all how the walls work and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of cool. Like like in like that stuff, like the water tube thing. Like it's really it's neat that they have that for like the amphibious creatures that can breathe underwater. And like it's like, hey, if you can't breathe, you can't go right now, and like they do, and then that's a problem. Like
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
that's an interesting thought thing, and it's like, oh, of course it would have this because like they could do that. Neat, I didn't think about that. So like all that's there, and that's good enough for the movie to be successful and positive in like in all the normal boxes that a movie needs to check. Critically, it's a mess in my opinion, but
Yeah.
I would agree with you. Critically, it's a mess, but like Rotten Tomatoes doesn't. Rotten Tomatoes is like 91, 98, bro. Like, how do you?
yeah.
And Metacritic 73. Like that. Those are great
Okay,
numbers.
hold on. Hey, according to me, you, and Roger, this movie has 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
True.
I mean, you're right. You all gave it. But again, nothing.
That is a very factual statement.
But
Correct.
there's only 3 things it can have, or 4 or 5 things: 0,
Yeah,
33, 66, or 100. It can't have anything else.
you're
So,
right, but I mean, according to Rotten Tomatoes, we are the people putting it in the 91 to 98 bracket. Like,
Son of a bitch.
Son
and
of a bitch.
I think Zootopia is good enough. You know what I mean?
I think that's a great way to
it's
sum
fine.
it up. Honestly, it's good enough. Fine. It's a fine movie.
It is,
Yeah.
and it's again for the kids. It's colorful. It's fun. It things are happening on screen. It's a lot of not a lot of slapstick comedy, but I'm surprised that they allow like the Sandberg character to like stab with the thing and like because I mean if you're
Well, he's not stabbing. He's not stabbing. He's injecting them. There's a difference
injecting
there.
thing with a sharp point is stabbing. If you, I mean, like
It's
something your skin
It's
is being
murder,
peeled.
bro.
Yeah, murder.
Officer
No.
down.
very
Although
slow
they just, yeah,
slow diabetic coma is what happened to them.
sure. I mean that's fair, but it's just it's weird to me that this is the movie we got based on the horrendously popular
Yeah.
Zootopia. I never would have guessed that this is the product we were going to get of Zootopia 2. It just wouldn't have been in my
So
darkest dreams.
there's a world, a timeline, or a universe where we could do a deep dive on Zootopia versus Zootopia 2 and comparing the movies and such. But like that's a very different conversation between the three of us, right?
It
Like
is.
there are
Sure.
like that's a very, very different thing. But as movie discussions go, this thing's fine. My kids liked it. My wife liked it. I
Had a
was
good
fine
time.
I didn't hate my life watching it. Like that's what a family animated movie needs to be. It was no, what was it, Strange World or whatever. You know,
That was a
like
different time, a very different time. Strange World was, but
listen, it's
that
we're
matters though.
talking
But
about.
seriously, when discussing those years, that matters. It
Yeah, I
really
mean,
does. There's something came out that in that time.
yeah, it's no Minions 2. It's there's bad ones out there. This is not one of them. It's fine.
Do you guys think it'll next week it'll hit or do you guys think by the time Avatar comes out it'll cross the $1 billion mark?
No.
That's a lot. No, because it's gonna go down. It won't make it'll make like what, like at most it'll make 300 million worldwide at most. So
You mean
like
next
it
week?
had yeah, it has to do 300 million to hit $1 billion before Avatar.
Yeah.
There's no way it
That's a
does
that's
that
a
though.
lot.
That's a lot of
It'll
that.
have a lot of international legs.
Well, I was gonna say that's like a 40% drop off if my fast math is right. Like that's not the usual case. We usually have a sharper drop off. So
It's usually 60.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like I don't know if it'd be. I think it's gonna make that billion mark. It'll be around the same success as Zootopia, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but like that's where I think it's gonna land.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I would expect it to do a little more because it's opening much stronger. So
Yeah.
it's opening much stronger, and it pretty much is Zootopia. So like then logic would
Mhm.
dictate that it's going to do slightly more than
People
you
have
know.
people have less money now for the movie theaters as they did in 2016,
Yeah, that's
and
also very true. I mean,
we have more
way less.
options now too in 2016 than we did in 2016, and people can just wait for it to stream, unlike they could in 2016.
Well, you see, that's also
So
the problem too. That like on one of these Disney centric episodes, we need to talk about because like I mean, that's I'll just wait for Disney Plus. I won't take my wife and my 3 kids and their cousins to watch this in the theater. We'll just wait for
Because
Disney
that's
Plus and save
$100.
and we'll save $150 for 2 adults, 3 kids. Well, let's say 3 of your children and like 2 cousins. That's 7 people. That's with concession and tickets. That's easily $150. If if you get what you want, it's $150. If you cut back, that's but that's easily $100 to $150. No problem. So I can see people doing that, but that's cuts into the box office too. But then again, that goes into the whole thing of how much money do these things actually? How are these services monetizing any of this stuff? So
we'll never know
I
until
mean,
there's laws for it.
I think we will know. But all right, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me for this episode talking about Zootopia 2.
Zootopia.
That does it for us in episode 58 of Post Credits Podcast, a show where we are lucky enough to talk about movies with you. If you listen to this episode on an audio only service such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, feel free to head over to YouTube. Check us out there also. Turn us on while you're doing work in the background, you're making dinner, tenderizing your steaks. I don't know what you people do, whatever you're doing. Like and subscribe. Smash those buttons, please. Thank you for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you next week for another theatrically released film.
Yes.